Hey, good morning, Patriots. It's another Monday, and we're still here. There's no flaming cars or debris or Democrats, at least not in my house, and not in the county. Well, we have Democrats here, but they're mostly peaceful Democrats, which means they don't tend to burn things, right, Chris? Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, mostly peaceful patriots. That's right. And speaking of
Mostly
flaming,
peaceful
what's happening in
Democrats.
LA? Yep.
Is that should we like caveat every Democrat appearance by mostly? These are mostly peaceful Democrats.
That's right. Or else we can maybe balloon up about 300 pounds, learn how not to dress, and talk like Jerry Nadler and say,
That's a fable. It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, there's a lot of figments in his imagination, and most of them have to do with food. Just saying. It's like he dreams of pasta and lasagna. It's
and
like,
McGriddles.
Yeah, and McGriddles.
Oh,
A man with a mission, all focused on food. That's Jerry Nadler. And of course, how to dispose of the end products, so to speak, which he's done in meetings, apparently, walking around. Yeah. So let's talk about this, Chris. Yeah, we've had, well, let's just say it, riots. There's no way to put a happy face on this, right?
no, there is no way. In fact, I'm thinking of something else here. Watching what's really going on, what's happening here is there are elected government officials encouraging the interference of a federal government agency from doing their job. Now, think about this. Wouldn't that be called an insurrection? Or at least by Democrat standards. If January 6th was an insurrection, this must be much more of one.
Well, it's like an innie and an outie, like belly button, an insurrection versus an outsurrection. And the
Well, yeah,
Democrats are definitely having
in
an
LA,
outsurrection.
well, if it was San Francisco, it would be an outsurrection. Oh, all right, that was bad. I
Good
need a
point.
rim shot here
Good
for
point.
the. I don't even get a
Ooh,
heyo,
heyo,
a
heyo.
groan.
So let's talk about this a minute because for those who follow me on X, I've been tweeting at the knuckleheads of Mayor Karen. There's a clue. Karen. She's
Yeah,
a
don't
Karen.
be a Karen.
Karen Bass, Marxist Karen Bass. Did you know that she went and met with Fidel Castro like 6 times
Oh,
when
yes.
she was young?
Yeah, well,
Just
she's a fan of
saying.
Sean Penn too.
It was pointed out to me by a close friend, former Assistant Secretary of Defense, yesterday or Saturday, that she is known to run in those Marxist circles, has been for decades. So this is no accident that she's there now. And then Gavin Hair Helmet Newsom basically is all upset because, he was told to go sit down, little boy. We'll let you know when we need something, which and it's like, and he's all upset because, he didn't do his job and now it's obvious. And I want to ask the Patriots here because this is no small deal. This is a big deal. Should ICE and the Guard be given more resources to do like a full sweep, like a military sweep through the city? What do y'all think? Because I think it's not they are being hampered. The ICE is being hampered by Bass. She, I believe, worked with the city to put debris in place for these protesters, peaceful protesters, to pick up and throw things at ICE. I think it was staged. What do you all think? What do you think, Chris?
I believe this was it's staged by opportunity. What's going on is the leadership. I'm going to use that as a relative term, if you will. The leadership in Los Angeles. Karen Bass is already unpopular thanks to her handling of the fire and her skipping out before a potential fire anyway. Then, of course, her comments and the incompetence of the city management making things a lot worse. So she figured, hey, why don't we focus the attention on Donald Trump? And that's what she's doing. That's what the left is doing. They're taking advantage of what's going on. They know most people want to see criminals thrown in jail. They want to see criminal illegals sent out of here, but they don't want to see or a lot of the left doesn't want to see a roundup of every single illegal alien, even though there were too many let in. So they're going to juxtapose the two, make it emotional, and twist it back into Orange Man bad. The fact is, these protests are not mostly peaceful. You want to hear from Karen Bass?
Yeah, let's hear the Karen speak.
Amendment right. But people should also exercise that right peacefully. We do not want to play into the administration's hands. We're working with officials, we're organizing resources, but what we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration.
Oh, provoked by the
Wait.
administration? No,
I heard there was no chaos. I heard there was no chaos from Gavin Newsom. It's like there's no chaos.
absolutely none. No. In fact, she is so competent. Mayor Bass is so competent that she doesn't believe, or she never believed. At least she told the news that, or a news media that LA never really needed troops to get in there because she has everything under control.
First, them. I'm curious if now that the National Guard troops are there on the ground, if there is any urgency on the police department's part to really put out an even stronger force and a stronger posture to get this under control. So you can, and I know your governor has said that they don't want, that he's formally requested that the National Guard troops go back, that they're not needed. Were those things correlated?
Well, I absolutely agree with the governor in asking that the troops be withdrawn. I don't think that is the way to bring peace in Los Angeles. I think.
Yeah, but you're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
Your police. She ties her police forces hands behind their backs when it comes to these people.
Let me give everybody a big hint here. The National Guard belongs to California, so there's nothing that Governor Newscum, as President calls him, nothing stopping him from calling out the Guard before Trump did it. It's like, hey, this is getting out of hand. Let's do this now. Let's get ahead of it. Nope. No, we're just going to sit back and let the city burn. That was going to be their strategy. So just saying.
And they are, by the way. Let's watch some lowlights from the protest. This is your mostly peaceful protest, people.
They're just, Chris. That's just the homeless are cold. They're trying to build some fires for the homeless. That's all that is.
Just like David Dinkins said.
You're looking too much into it.
Yeah, just like David Dinkins said from at the Crown Heights riots. Oh, they're just blowing off steam. There we go.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold.
This is not just a good gesture. This is something we need to make real. Oh, by the way, look at the rogues gallery of protesters here with the uniforms. Yeah. You know, the kind of, well, let's say limpy men over here, trying to be tough in numbers. Everybody with their cell phones out saying it's so cool. We're watching the flag burn.
Can I say? I think I can say small penis energy without getting in trouble here, right? I think that's what that looks like. It's even a small fire. It's like, yeah, they can't even do a fire right.
Yeah, and the men too, by the way.
Yeah, too. Yeah, men and women both. Yeah.
And look at the COVID mess. They're still scared of contracting COVID after all these years.
No. They figured out that Joe Biden's mental incapacitation. There is it's you can catch Joe Biden disease from being close to Democrats. Did you know that?
Yeah, and they're probably going to forget all about this. Look at this.
Dare to struggle.
Yeah, they're struggling. They're spitting on the American flag.
You're going to struggle. That's right.
Spitting on the flag. Throwing another flag in there. Oh yeah, here we go. And they're all masked. A lot of these people are masked because they're afraid to be identified. They don't want to stand up and stand behind their stand. They just want to be cool and
then almost goes out.
Right.
Yeah, it's anybody who has a foreign flag needs to go. It's like, hey, the flag you're holding, that's where you need to go. Just saying.
Yeah, go to that country.
You are not needed here.
Yeah, see how much you like it there.
Yeah.
Protest over there.
Yeah.
Make it great like 92.
Yeah, there you go.
See, and there's another thing. The chants resonate with people like this. You ever notice that? It's the simplest form of denial and protest. None of these people can actually formulate an original thought. They have to follow along with chants, and it's attractive to them. It's almost like tribal or cultish.
Yes, exactly. They are a cult. I've said this. Well, if it's not obvious now, people will never figure it out. They are a cult. They're like a hive mind. and I want to hit some of that in a second. But suffice it to say that I think that it's time to put the Marine Corps in. Pete Hegseth threatened to put the Marines in. Put the Marines in. And I'm going to say something that some of you may think is extreme, but I think you need to hold people to example. There needs to be, and I think it needs to be public, a public plan announced by Pete Hegseth to replace Gavin Newsom with a military governor. And I'm not kidding. It's like they should say at this point, because we have seen indications that the leadership of California are not actually supporting the lawful actions of ICE and the federal government, and we are now taking steps to prepare for a contingency plan to remove them from power. Period. Now I don't know what the Patriots feel about that, but I would be that extreme because Gavin Newsom has been nothing except an impediment, and I think Bass is playing for the other side. What do you think, Chris?
Well, yeah, Bass is, well, yeah, and in more ways than one, I'll tell you that. But Bass is definitely a Marxist.
Yeah.
These people are out to destroy the country from within. And if people don't believe that, watch them, watch their actions, watch how the rest of their ilk do the same thing. When these people are eager to throw grandmas and grandpas who didn't know what was going on in jail just for being at the at a protest against their interests, while saying, no, cities aren't burning down. These are mostly peaceful protests. No, nobody's getting attacked. No, nothing's happening here. And by the way, don't think anything's going to happen because if ICE arrests any of these protesters, they're going to be brought up on local charges, and local DAs are not going to do a thing.
Nope.
Right.
Nope. So I think at this point it's not going to get any better, at least for the next few months. I think that California is now split down the middle regarding Republican, Democrat. I think most Republicans would dig what I'm saying. It's like, okay, look, you can't have a governor openly defying the president to this level. I mean, they all do it, but at this point, it's criminal. And then Bass needs to be just removed. I mean, she allowed the city to burn back in January. No doubt that was her incompetence. And I think it was planned incompetence. I think they knew what they were doing. And in this case now, it's like there's no doubt that they knew the end result of encouraging the resistance that she did. She put out something saying, you must resist. Like, okay, you need to resist from a jail cell, as far as I'm concerned. So there you go. But let's continue to talk. What do you have the Amy Klobuchar?
Well, I got
better. Let's hit this.
I got better.
This is Kamala Mala Ding Dong.
Right, and nobody asked for this, but she did.
Yeah, but she
Kamala Harris did come out and say something because never fear.
By the way,
some
of this is her fault because she was the state AG, the attorney general during some of the time this was all becoming a problem. She refused to enforce any immigration laws. Right.
Not only that, she actually aided the perpetrators of the St. Floyd riots.
That's right.
Financially as well. So this is a person who, you want to hear what she said? This is even when she writes things down, it's word salad. Even when she carefully prepares something, it's word salad. Here it is. Los Angeles is my home. And like so many Americans, I'm appalled at we're witnessing on the streets of our city. Deploying the National Guard is a dangerous escalation meant to provoke chaos. In addition to the recent ICE raids in Southern California and across our nation, as part of the Trump administration's cruel, calculated agenda to spread panic and division. What? Getting rid of violent criminals who shouldn't have been here in the first place? That's not spreading panic. That, my friends, is protecting the public.
Yeah. So, yeah. Is there any more? Is that all?
Don't hear about this one. Well, I'll skip ahead to protest is a powerful tool, essential in the fight for justice. It wasn't on January 6th. Okay.
Yeah.
And as the LAPD mayor and governor have noted, demonstrations in defense of our immigrant neighbors have been overwhelmingly peaceful. Who writes her crap? Greta Thunberg?
No, Greta's trying to track down climate change. It moved into Gaza. She's going after it. She wants to bring it back. She's going in like Rambo to bring climate change out of the hostage. It was. Did you know that, Chris? Climate change is being held hostage by Hamas. Just saying.
Oh, well,
Anyway,
d- I actually have that one if you want to skip ahead to that video. The pre-recorded.
you got the little gremlin. You got her.
Yeah, she has apparently they pre-recorded a video in case they get kidnapped, which
Oh, good.
likely never happened. But a flair for the dramatic. Her handlers had to have this one together. So we'll take a little break from the protest since you mentioned Greta. And we'll
Regretter Thunberg.
Yeah, we do regret her anyway. Here you go. Here is Greta and her pre-recorded video telling everybody she was kidnapped as planned. Let's get that rolling up here.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel.
So wait a minute. She knew who was going to kidnap her if she ever got kidnapped before she got there. Is that correct here?
Yeah. So I think it's just like she wants to be a martyr. That's what. Come on, everybody knows this. She makes her living off of the pain and suffering of others, and this is what she's doing. This is another grift where she's making money. I don't know how much she's being paid, but she's being paid.
Oh, she's getting
do
banked,
this.
yo.
She's getting banked to be the face of fear and loathing, and it's not in Las Vegas like that movie. Anyway, but I'm just saying it's time that we just ignore her. Just ignore her. She's Greta, Greta Thunberg. Anyway, they let her be captured. You know, if I were the Israelis, I'd let her go. I'd just go, keep going. We'll let you go be with Hamas.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. She knew, and this group of people, including that awful guitarist and singer, knew that once they got near Gaza, Israeli forces would stop them just for their safety. That's the reason. But Greta would turn it around. If they all knew, they would turn it around and say, well, the Israelis kidnapped us and kept us from doing our thing and bringing in aid. No, they're keeping you from being killed in there.
Yeah. So again, I just let him go. It's like, no, you can go. We're going to give you an exception. As a matter of fact, we're going to give you an escort. I would give him an escort. Like, no, sweetie, I'm going to show you where the beach is and you can hit it.
That would be good.
I know, I'm serious. It's like, if I were Netanyahu, it's like, no, little girl, you can have what you want. We're going to give you exactly what you're asking for. And I think that would be glorious. It would be. Anyway, back to another blowhard. Do you have anything on Amy Klobuchar? Amy Klobuchar was asked over the weekend a couple things. I want to do this because they look so similar. Okay, did you notice that well, they do. They have that soft kind of Stay Puft Marshmallow Man face. Have you noticed that they're kind of puffy, like
yeah,
a little bit? You know, it's like maybe is it possible, Chris, that Greta Thunberg is the illegitimate daughter of Amy Klobuchar? Is it possible? Could they have like,
I mean, somebody would have to, yeah. But yeah, I guess I get what you're saying.
I think it's possible because they look similar. And Minnesota, a lot of people from Minnesota are from Sweden. Did you know that? Oofta.
I suppose,
right? Oofta for all my Brainerd Minnesota friends. Oofta. And so I think we've stumbled on something here. I think there's a relationship between face the nation. There, look at that. She's got that oofta face. Can I say that on the air? I guess I could. Greta Klobuchar. That's great, American Mark. Greta Klobuchar. How dare you? How dare you? I think they're related. I do. I think there's something there. Sweden, Minnesota, Sweden, Greta. I'm just saying. I think it's irrefutable at this point.
Well, keep in mind, Amy Klobuchar was the former mayor of St. Olaf beforehand, right?
She's like a grown-up Greta. She is. Look at that. And she even eats. They both eat their salad with their combs. Did you know that they use a comb and eat salad?
Well, she even sounds like Greta in a lot of ways, with a little bit less of the
Not much less, but a little. She's kind of refined it. All right, let's
hear it.
play Miss Klobuchar today. Let's see what
in our poll, though, it also shows among those polled that congressional Democrats are overwhelmingly seen as ineffective in challenging Trump. 71% of Democrats say their leaders are ineffective. You are in Democratic leadership. Why are they wrong?
Ineffective.
So when you look at what's happening here, Trump is doing some really bad things to people, right? Small businesses are closing down.
Wait, what's this here? Trump is closing small businesses down. Trump's doing bad things to people. What is he doing now? Okay, let's hear here.
The economy has retracted in the first quarter. And when I get out there talking to independents, Republicans, or Democrats, they're basically saying the same thing. They're really scared of what's happening right now to their families, and they want to see leadership. So we cannot be the party of the status quo. That is for
But you are the party of the status quo.
Yeah, it's just like, duh. This reminds me of Count Floyd and Monster Chiller Horror Theater. Ooh, 3D house of Democrats. Ooh.
And it takes more than a quarter to fix an economy. You have to pretty much find a way to take a step back. And unfortunately, that's the stage we're in right now. And repair the damage
Mark
that's
is on
been
top of it here, but he says Trump is doing bad things to people. That's why she sucks. Okay. But the question was, why are you incompetent? And the answer is Trump.
It's always Trump. Because
all right.
Trump.
All right.
Here's the reason. Trump points out how incompetent they are. And people see it. People finally say, well, in the middle, they're saying this because in the middle, they've been watching the news for the last 4 years and thinking, well, it seems they're incompetent, but the media is not really catching on to it. And Trump just says it out there. Right. He just says it.
Let's ask the Patriots here real quick. Do you think should we and by the way, we work for Ed Henry. Good morning, Ed, our evil overlord. Should we demand that Ed permit us? That sounds complicated, and it is. Should we demand that Ed permit us to do a survey and fundraising to demand that there be a DNA test between Klobuchar and Greta Thunberg to see if they're related? I think that's a good investigation. We could be like the 60 Minutes of what are we on? Rumble. We can be like the 60 Minutes of Rumble and get to the bottom of what's going on.
And if we don't have
related.
And we could be the 60 Minutes of Rumble just by saying, well, if there's no match, we can still kind of edit and splice in such a way that it is a match somehow.
That's right. We could act like Scott McFarlane on X, say, echo and amplify Klobuchar's comments about, Trump didn't request the National Guard on the 6th of January. It's like, yeah, he did. Sorry. My point is that, yeah, we should do the DNA testing or demand it because I think they're related. And oof to fida, I think that as they say in Minnesota and Brainerd.
And before we bring our guest in, I want to show you some media lowlights from the riots.
There's more. There's more. Yeah. Tell me. Oh, come on!
I got
there
lots.
Can't be more.
I got lots of stuff. This is going to be a lot of fun. Now, again, this watch this woman describe the protest, the St. Floyd protests too, or let's say the Saint Illegals. There we go.
Demonstrations had been going on right outside the Federal Detention Center. Most of those demonstrators were very peaceful. They were chanting. They were
peaceful. You say peaceful. You say. Well, you have cars burning. You have people. You have people getting attacked all over the place by these Antifa LARPers, getting shot by bullets. As a matter of fact, there is another journalist that will challenge the fact that. Or challenge whether it was peaceful or not. Check this out. This is a Sky 9 news reporter. Oh, so it's a Channel 9 news reporter from Australia. Excuse me.
Oh yeah. I know who they are. I work with those folks. Keep going.
Right. Yeah, that's why I think she might have been targeted. So.
To hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
You just shut the fuck
Holy shit.
And look at these look at these Antifa LARPers here. They're shooting off rubber bullets. They hit a reporter. And let me tell you something. This is the background that ABC chose to use for these riots. Oh, it's mostly peaceful. Meantime, a more honest assessment is right in the middle of the action where this woman actually got shot in the middle of the rioting.
Well,
So
I feel sorry because I like Channel 9. I get along with Channel 9. I'm on their morning show. And yeah, look, I feel sorry for her, but that's the danger of being there in the middle of that. But to that point, she points out accurately, there's violence. There is violence.
She reported in the middle of the violence. She reported in the right place. While ABC deliberately chose a quieter scene in the background.
Yeah, of course.
To show it's mostly peaceful. This is the theater the news media puts together. And that's what bothers me the most about coverage. And believe me, they could have done the same thing with the January 6th the protest, whereas they had to show the people who were climbing up the walls, but they didn't show people who were as a matter of fact, the January 6th committee suppressed video of people just walking into the Capitol building, basically not even knowing. They were just invited.
Yeah. So I don't want to hear this. Oh, this is they didn't ask for the National Guard on the 6th of January. It's like, yeah, they did. And now that they've actually called the guard out, oh, we don't want the guard. Oh, it's overkill. It's like, really? It seems to be kind of quieting things down pretty quick. And so I think it's pretty important that people recognize that the left is talking out of both sides of their mouth.
News 9 is basically a more conservative outlet. And let me tell you,
they are.
LARPers may be a bunch of annoying kids in their basements.
And shout out to Carl and Sarah. Yeah. Right. My friends Carl and Sarah are the morning folks there. I love them. They're good.
But I know that I'm sure some of these kids know who 9 is, and perhaps that bullet may not have been as stray as one thinks. I'm not saying it's true or not, but I am saying that these people attack women and seniors.
Morning, AJ.
One-on-one. Hey, morning, AJ.
Morning,
AJ.
AJ.
Good morning.
No, AJ. I don't know. Hey, look. We got some breaking news for you. Did you know that we've stumbled upon the fact that Greta Thunberg is the illegitimate daughter of Amy Klobuchar? Did you know that? And we're opening a full investigation right now.
That's right. She put her in a basket and sent her to the Fertile Crescent to get picked up by her Hamas step parents. Absolutely.
Look. So we all know that the Minnesota is infested with Swedes. Just saying. I'm not judging.
That's true.
I'm not judging.
That's true.
Not judging.
That's true.
And Greta
I feel ashamed wearing Minnesota Vikings colors today. So no, you're exactly correct. They're up there. The poor Vikings have never won a Super Bowl. It's an amazing thing what happened to all of Scandinavia. They went from being the most ferocious, invaders with the Viking longboats to Greta Thunberg in a couple generations. So I don't know what happened.
Greta's pretty fierce if you get her in front of a bingo game. If she comes across, if she gets bingo, man, don't get in front of her. Just saying.
That's right. When she's playing Connect 4, exactly. No, I hear you.
Right. When she's yeah. So
good
morning, AJ. Good to see you.
Doing good. Doing good.
About your book a little bit.
Well, and I see we're weighing in on America's very own Yugoslavia, Tony. I mean, it's called California. It's not really part of the United States. Shame on pretty much every Republican, going back, even maybe before Pete Wilson, and the Bushes, and we've allowed this third world country to form inside of our borders. Yeah. And we're all shocked now.
Like a cancer.
We're not shocked.
Yeah, we're shocked. Coming. I mean, we all know, but I mean, here's the thing. California has been off this leash for a long time. Okay? Schwarzenegger didn't do anything about it. Obviously you can't get elected statewide as a Republican there, although we are getting closer. And I think Trump, if you look at the 2020 county by county, 2024 county by county, you can see them starting to flip. Lo and behold, a lot of them are Hispanics. You know why? Because they didn't come here to raise the Mexican flag. Those people are staying home. But we have sleeper cells, cartel cells. We have a metastasis inside of California, and they need to be punished. Trump has an opportunity here to break them. They have to be broken. It can't just be, a little bit here and a little bit there. We need to send them into retirement because this is the state that produced Nixon and Reagan, which I think are the only presidents ever that come out of California, I'm pretty sure. And now, I tell young people this, Gen Z, that think history started yesterday. I tell them that, this used to be a red state. It used to actually be more like Texas than it was Venezuela. And they're like, really? And I'm like,
yeah.
There you go.
Well, AJ, let me hit that real quick. And by the way, people tend to forget that Nixon was wildly popular. He kicked McGovern's ass. I mean, like an electoral and popular vote.
149 states.
Kicking.
He won 49 states in 72. Yeah,
it's like wow. Yeah, people tend to forget. It's like
two guys to win 49 states, both from California.
Exactly. And I think
honestly, that the cultural Marxists love the Long March. The Long March, I think, begins before World War I, but the California March begins when they see that Nixon and Reagan won 49 states in 72 and 84. It wasn't even back to back. It was separated.
There's a nuance. There was a nuance to the McGovern loss. The fact is that reporter comes out. This reporter comes out and says, "I don't know anybody who didn't vote for who voted for Nixon." This reporter actually says it on the air, and we're looking at this. There are small bubbles of very strong cultural Marxists in certain areas. That was a small area. Now this has grown. LA has gotten bigger.
Well, let me make my point because I got to go anyway. Let me make my point. You guys can talk about when I go anyway. But Nixon was very popular, and I think there's something to the fact that the Marxists you're talking about, Chris, went after him. This whole Watergate thing, way overblown. Just saying. I mean, was there law breaking? Yeah, probably.
They got caught.
I'm not defending, and I knew G. Gordon Liddy. Yes, he probably did what he did. I'm just saying. But I don't think it was severe as, say, I don't know, Joe Biden and his decline in office. Just saying. Anyway, so that's one point. Secondly, and AJ, I think you might agree with me on this. It was our own mistakes that turned California blue. The moment they convinced Ronald Reagan to grant amnesty and promise him all the stuff they would never give him, the moments that happened, the moment Reagan gave in is the moment California became blue. What do you think?
Yeah, I've heard that. Look, people forget some of this stuff. He did an amnesty. I think it was like 2.8 million people. Most of them were there.
Californians, absolutely.
Most of them were there. He paid reparations to Japanese. He did that. And look, once that happened, you saw really the electric slide here for almost 50 years of California slowly turning into our very own sort of failed state, third world country inside of our country. And, it's run by lily white, uptight dorks. But as you can see in the streets,
Speaking of
this is their base.
You stumbled on something. So, AJ, you stumbled on something, and I hope Kamala Harris and her team is listening. So you've just identified that Kamala Harris needs to use the electric slide as her campaign theme for when she runs for governor. I think that'll be brilliant.
I don't know if anybody wants to see that. Maybe they're doing the Macarena as they're burning LA down, though. I'll tell you that.
That's right.
They're definitely doing
That's
that.
That's right. Macarena. Well, I got to go. You guys have fun. Good seeing y'all, Patriots. I'll see you all. I won't be here tomorrow because I got, county commissioner stuff. But I'll see you all on Wednesday. Have fun, guys. See you soon.
I'll have Karen. Karen will be with me tomorrow, but right now. But AJ's here at this point. This was AJ. We're watching either a total loss of control of what's going on in Los Angeles or an engineered insurrectionist type movement that's been kind of festering for a very long time. And of course, Karen Bass also is using this to take advantage of the anti-Trump sentiment down in her bubble. so that the attention can be taken away from her incredible incompetence during the California wildfires. Your take?
Well, look, but this isn't this isn't the old, this isn't the Bush Republican Party. This isn't the heroes that were captured and the heroes that weren't captured. This isn't the Republican Party of the magical underwear Mitt Romney's. That is not what this is. Bongino is coming. Cash is coming. Payne Bondi is on their ass. Okay, Tom Homan is on their ass. Caribou Barbie and Corey Lewandowski are going to break them. We're talking belt to ass. They're not going to be able to sort of, I'm worried about the pictures on TV, or I'm worried about this. They're not going to allow it to happen again. If they try the summer of love nonsense, they're going to get broken. Belt to ass. This is not the same place, and they need to. Trump needs to take this moment because he's got it. Let's quote Rahm Emanuel. Never let a crisis go to waste. They need to break California once and for all. Break it. And while they're bringing in law enforcement, do some other things. Cut off their funding. Do a ton of stuff. I mean, Karen Bass, the woman that is at the birthday party when Los Angeles and Pacific, whatever the hell she was, she was at some mud hut in Africa,
right.
On some junket while LA was burning. I don't know.
Well, let's stop there. She was not only there during the time when LA was burning. She left. She could have canceled the trip. She left knowing that there could have been a serious weather issue and a serious issue coming, but she decided to shirk her leadership duties just to go to that. I believe it was a wedding, right?
Yeah, it was was it a wedding?
It was something. It was a wedding or birthday in Africa.
All right. So here's the thing. Her backup plan that time was send in the lesbian firefighters.
Oh, that always works.
That was her backup plan. So I don't know what her backup plan is this time.
Well, she thought they licked the fire pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's right. It was a Rainbow Ragnarok. I don't know what the plan is this time. Now, cops are usually pretty even keeled. I'm watching last night. A McConnell. Some of my long lost Irish relatives is the chief of police of Los Angeles. He seems to be contradicting what the goofy politicians are saying. He doesn't exactly fill me full of confidence either. I got to be honest with you. He was being very deliberate. He was making sure everyone knows we're a sanctuary city, but this place is going to erupt unless Trump did what he did. And, it still doesn't look great, but it could be way worse. It could be Rodney King level craziness. Now, I saw anti-Maxine on the streets. I saw, I traded. Now I've got a new girlfriend. Her name's Jasmine, but I traded in Maxine for Jasmine. I wanted a younger model, younger version. Plus, Jasmine's hair doesn't come off when you grab it, as far as I can tell. Yeah, but she's out there. She's in the streets, and I think she's going to help save the day. As you can see, she was trying to get into some federal buildings, and she was being blocked.
Yeah, watch what happens here, AG. Let's get that. And by the way, I think you're referring to the posh Yasmine Croquet. That's her real name, by the way.
That's right.
She's not Jasmine Crockett. She's street before the cotillion. When she's at cotillion, she's always having the lady fingers and caviar with her private school friends.
Right. Cucumber sandwiches. That's right.
Here's Maxine, as you're saying, getting the door slammed in her face while she's trying to assert her power. We'll get that going.
Hello. Congresswoman Waters. I just came to use my congressional authority to check on baby.
Ma'am, we're logging securely now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public apparel.
I need to get in.
The funny thing is, it's
I
just
need
like,
to get in.
It's like watching Fred Sanford smash the door into Esther's face.
That's exactly right. I mean, look. Every time the wig shop sees her coming, they do that exact same thing to her. They do the exact same thing, right? So she's a single cell life form, and she's been out there. She was in the streets in '92 with Rodney King.
Yeah, I remember.
Unlike that time, though,
By the way,
Trumpzilla's not playing around. Trumpzilla's not playing around. And Pete Hegseth's not playing around. Camp Pendleton could show up any minute if the things get too crazy. So, I mean, they better check themselves. They are neutered. California has always been, for decades now, there's never been the right moment with the right president. California needs to be broken. It needs to be broken. Half of their voting populace probably shouldn't be there, right? If you start pulling these people from the margins, you look at the county-by-county map from 2020 to 2024, in most cases, all we're losing by on some of these other blue counties is 2, 3, 4 percentage points of people that shouldn't be there. And make no mistake, the Democrats, fatal flaw was that they've always been worried about African Americans leaving, escaping the plantation, the intellectual plantation of the Democrat Party.
Intellectually,
their backup plan was to import millions of Catholic people that never get divorced and never have abortions that just escaped some Marxist dump and think that they are going to save them. Make no mistake, the Republican Party will retake California, and it will be at the hands of some Hispanic Republican. It will happen. They don't like this. I think there's this idea, because the Democrats are always trying to put us in these little freaking Benetton categories, right? Like, you're in this silo and you're in that silo, and stay in your Tupperware containers of identity and so on. But you're dealing with Hispanic Catholics in the diaspora of Portuguese and Spanish people. They're not all going to be the same. Now, in the old days, you could kind of rely just on the Cubans to vote Republican. That is changing. That is changing. And the idea that it wouldn't affect California is insane. Because in the last election, Chris, you had 2 blue walls go down. You had the blue walls of the Rust Belt, and then you had another blue wall that runs along the Texas-Mexican border. Well, the idea that that won't continue, they don't want this. They don't want this, right? And the people that they're after in L.A., these aren't lettuce pickers. These aren't citrus pickers. These are straight-up thug gangsters that are running cartel stuff. They're running Mexican mafia stuff out of Los Angeles County. And the politicians there were perfectly okay, just like the corrupt politicians in Mexico City, to allow them to do it.
Well, again, these are the people who are destroying neighborhoods. People are finally getting sick of it, and it was a slow trend, mainly because of media and internet shame, and of course a worry over whose opinion was popular or who's not. But at this point, the politicians love bringing in as many illegals as they want, criminals especially, because they can distract everybody with crime and other issues. But they never have to live with the consequences. They're always somewhere in a posh neighborhood, far away from all of where their policies affect people. They're immune to all these because they have theirs, and that's an issue. Where they'll shame everybody else by saying, "No, you people are racist for saying these undocumented citizens." I've been hearing that in the news. Undocumented citizens, not even
That's right.
Not even undocumented aliens. Now it's undocumented citizens that these people are. Oh, hey, good thing is though, AJ. These liberals got their wish. That MS-13 guy from El Salvador, he's coming back. They're bringing him up on charges. But hey, at least the Maryland man is coming back to the U.S.
Right.
as they wish.
The Maryland dad. I know a bunch of Maryland dads, and not all Hispanic, that we should deport. I got a whole list.
Jamie Raskin's one of them, right?
Yeah, Wes Moore. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. So look, here's the thing. They went down to Sandals. They did a couple bangers and drank some, did a little Palico and drank some margaritas, hung out at the Sandals there in El Salvador. And now they're going to bring this criminal back, and, they're going to charge him. They're going to charge him with all kinds of things. Look, yeah, I'm not sure we needed to bring him back. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're going to do this to make an example of him.
That's what's happening.
No problem.
Yeah,
well, look, I want him to live next door to me. He looks great. He looks like a part-time babysitter.
Well,
So,
I mean, you get discount buys if you live next to
what
them,
have
right?
we, because I haven't talked to you guys in a while, what have we learned here, Chris, over the last 150 days of Trump 2.0?
I will tell you this.
The Democrats have lifted up their skirt, and, you know, there's 72 genders under there, but some of the other things that are under there they've sort of told us what they stand for. And one of the things they stand for is this gentleman on your screen right now. They stand for the burning of Tesla dealerships. They stand for Luigi shooting down healthcare CEOs in the streets. They stand for Mohammed on Columbia's campus hunting down Jews. They stand for that. They stand for Omar here, this guy, turning planes around filled with MS-13 and Tren de Aragua coming to a cul-de-sac near you. They stand for sending men into Nancy Mace's bathroom. They stand for the riots in Los Angeles now. This is what they love the IRS, right?
Well, they love the IRS as a weapon.
USAID.
As a weapon.
This is their base. This is their platform. And I say, as a marketing guy, keep it up. Keep it up. Let's see how you do next year in the midterms. And while they're doing all of this, they've got AOC and the youth movement, Bernie Sanders and the youth movement, 83 years old. He's going to Coachella doing his thing. And then, of course, my girlfriend, Jasmine, who was very upset about the Chinese tariffs. She couldn't get those eyelashes in as quick as she wanted. She was super upset because of those Chinese CCP eyelashes that she wears. She was mad at Trump about that. And look, the reality is that, she's the Disney remake of AOC. And, the people love her over there on MSNBC. So I say, keep it up and, you'll get your clocks clean next year in the midterms.
Oh, let's see. It all depends. The difference between us taking a stand and them kind of taking whatever stand they want is they still have the mainstream media behind them. The good thing is Americans have learned that we can that protester versus car is quite a good thing. Check this out.
Wow.
I love it. We're finally allowed in a way with this new president to be able to stand up to these protesters.
Oh, sure.
These Antifa LARPers.
Sure.
Right. This is great. This is what you should do. This is how to handle a protester who's trying to block you from going to work or picking up your kids
What is that, a
from
Honda
school.
Odyssey? What am I looking at? Is that a Jeep Grand Cherokee? I don't know what it is.
I don't know, but it's not a Ford Bronco. That I can tell you. There we go. Hey-yo.
He thought he was Marty McFly in Back to the Future for a second without a skateboard.
Of course, the media will spin it, though. Check this out.
For them, but
watch the media spin this.
That even that deployment, which was wanted by the governor,
Honda Odyssey comes to attack.
There it is. This is
Donuts.
live. Yeah, you're seeing
My favorite kind.
conduct.
Yes.
Look at these people. Look what they're trying to do to the car.
You're seeing the deployment of a military asset that's not aligned with state and locals, and we certainly know from the LA riots that was not very organized. So you are seeing.
That's right.
Here it is.
You're seeing now this car is leaving, but it's on everyone's video. So I think what's happening is you're getting people against the protesters now coming using vehicles to try to harm them.
Liar! These people are stopping vehicles from going where they need to go, possibly picking up their mothers from the hospital or picking up their kids from work or school, or possibly getting from one place to another, going to work. They're not just going out driving their car and risking damage to it just to harass protesters. No, protesters are harassing them, AJ. And the media is lying about it. And this Juliet Kayyem says, I think what's happening is is these people are going after the protesters with their cars. No, they're fighting back against people who are harming their property.
And that was just an Uber Eats driver you just saw, ladies and gentlemen. He was just trying to make a delivery there of some Five Guys or some In-N-Out burger or something. I mean, that's all that was happening there. I mean, look, Los Angeles is kind of like Mad Max. It's Fury Road. It's beyond Thunderdome, and it's been that way for some time. And look, the left wingers are, for the most part, hiding, like you said, behind their their walls in Bel Air and their walls in Malibu and their walls in Beverly Hills.
And
So
Tim
you know,
Walz.
they're not down there. They're not down there. They're keyboard warriors. They're out there. You know, oh, you know, Trump. You know, the fascists are coming in, and the military is going to come in, and the Insurrection Act, and this and that. I mean, it's funny to watch, but here's the thing. They almost feel dispirited. They almost do. Like if Trump, if we had a different president, and if we'd have waited a couple more days, the whole place might have went up in it like a tinderbox. But Trump got on it quickly. He took Gavin Newsom's nuts off his body, and took the National Guard. And you know, even the chief of police is like, look, most of the National Guard's not even here yet. So I don't know what these news broadcasts are saying. Oh, the Nazi stormtroopers. Trump took the Nazi stormtroopers over. I mean, it's just crazy.
They're on orders to do so. That's the idea. All these Antifa LARPers and all these the paid protesters as well, they know that they're never going to be prosecuted. Just like if you just happen to be a grandma and grandpa at a protest that happens to be coming from the right, you're going to be thrown in jail. They're going to throw the book at you. They're going to put committees on television just to make you look bad. And it was like basically a Puritan witch trial. The entire J6 committee put together. However, if you're a leftist, you've already been taught the lesson that powerful people are going to bail you out, give you legal aid, and give you a slap on the wrist and let you go home. When we even saw it when Kamala Harris herself, the candidate for president for 2024, in her past when she was running for vice president, gave financial aid to protesters, violent protesters. And they know these people.
And
know
look, we saw the city management's competence on display during the lesbian firefighter fight of last year. And I will also tell you, here's the thing. I was told that, you know, when they got rid of this Gascon character, who I guess was the DA, or the federal prosecutor, whatever the hell he was, and they replaced him with, I was told they replaced him with a more moderate, competent guy. Now, I've seen this guy that they replaced Gascon with, this stiff, right? I see him on TV all the time saying, come here, we're a sanctuary city, you know. So, I mean, you know, if you're that far gone, you know, replacing, you know, a level 10 incompetent boob with a level 9 is not going to save you.
Well, here's another thing. I want to ask you a question. This is a very serious question, AJ. And I'm going to brace. I want to ask the Patriots too, because maybe somebody knows the answer to this. And I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Who in the hell? I'm sorry, excuse me. I should say heck, because it's a clean show. It's PD. Who in the heck bought these for the protesters and had them sent to LA?
Wow.
Cinder block.
Unbelievable.
Yes, this is unbelievable. But it's see, these people know they're going to be supported. Right? If you were in the Tea Party and you were protesting, the media jumped on you as a racist movement right off the bat. But before that, during the Crown Heights riots in New York City, the media was behind them. The mayor even said, oh, I'm not going to deploy the police. Let them blow off steam for a couple of days. Mayor Dinkins, by the way, another poor excuse for a mayor. But this is how they learn. This is a generation and a half of knowing that they're going to get a slap on the wrist. They come out of their basements and attack people in droves. And they always do it 7-on-1.
Here they're putting these cinder blocks into bags and carrying hammers around, and they're knocking pieces off of it and throwing it at cops, at cars, at, you know, whoever goes by. I mean, look, we saw plenty of U-Haul trucks roll in during the Summer of Love, and make no mistake, it ain't gonna be like that. It's not. This is not going to go down the way they think it's going to go down. There will be federal charges because we know the city of California, the city of LA, and the state of California is not going to bring the charges. Bongino and Cash are going to bring the charges. They're going to bring the charges. Pam Bondi is going to bring the charges because this obviously is a coordinated deal. We saw pallets of bricks. We saw pallets of cinder blocks like this rolling in. After, you know, the George Floyd incident, you know, we're now 5 years removed from that, so we're due. we're due for another summer of love, for sure.
All right, but
And
the thing is,
as you can see on your screen, that's what we're going to get here.
well, this is a woman whose family was murdered apparently by illegal aliens, and she's protesting the protesters. She is being peaceful. She's yelling at them as they deserve. But all these masked up protesters, and if you notice, these LARPers, these Antifa LARPers, always have to attack frail, small women or frail elderly people, 6 or 7 on 1. You ever notice that?
That's right.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I mean
that's how gangs work. That's how people. That's
Sure.
how criminals work.
Well, no, I mean they're a pack of wild animals for sure.
There we go.
I mean, without
I didn't
a
want to
doubt.
insult the animals.
Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah, Roseanne
and
Barr got in
it's-
trouble for insulting animals.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, this is not. I mean, you know, and I saw over the weekend we had a U.S. Marine try to disarm someone with a gun who was waving a gun around, and he took 4 bullets. He's in the emergency room still. So, you know, this has always been part of the cultural Marxist way, and you know, you have to have no judgment. You have to have postmodernism where you basically make the case that all cultures are created equal. Is that American culture, ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing there on your screen? Is it Western civilization culture, or is it some neo-Marxist guerrilla culture that comes from the third world baptism of Karl Marx? I don't know. You know, the video, you decide. But it looks to me like this is an attack on the fabric of society. Without a doubt. And the fact that California won't prosecute, California won't shame them, won't
They'll
fine.
encourage it. They're going to encourage this, AJ. And we are out of time, but I do want to say, AJ Rice wrote a bunch of great books, and this one is one of my favorites. I have 2 favorite White albums. Obviously, the White Album from the Beatles and the White Privilege album from AJ Rice. Tell us more about the book.
That's right. That's right. Look, if you're looking for a humorous take on the defense of Western civilization, defense of the middle class, and the defense of the nuclear family, 3 things that what's going on in Los Angeles now are under assault. Get a hold of this book. You'll have a blast. White Privilege album, bringing racial harmony to very fine people on both sides. I think a big shout out to the very fine people out there. And right now in Los Angeles, I think there's only very fine people on one side right now. In Los Angeles, and that would be the National Guard.
Well, that's a good point. And at least they're good people. They're brave people. And we can go into why, we can go into all of this. We can go into the left doxing some of these people and threatening their families. But we don't have any time. That's the horrible thing about it.
Until next time, brother. Until next time.
Yes, until next time. By the way, I was going to give you this too. Speaking of very fine people on both sides, it reminds me of a drink I used to have back in the old days in elementary school. Very fine. I remember that stuff. It was good juice.
Yeah, that stuff is probably banned. RFK Jr. is probably banned that stuff now. That stuff probably that stuff's probably made out of all kinds of poison that we didn't realize. But
well, we're going to find out more about that.
The good old days, right? With a Capri Sun and a little Very Fine. That's right.
Quickly before we go, your website so people can find out more about your books and what you do.
Yeah, well, I run Publius PR, and you know, I write my own books. You can find them on Amazon, The Woking Dead and the White Privilege album. But PubliusPR.com, look me up there. We represent a lot of a MAGA and Maha world. We're currently acting as the Indeed.com for the White House, so we're very proud.
I believe we have one of yours tomorrow, so that's a good one.
All right. There you go.
But we do have a lot of AJ's fine roster of guests on this program. Wake Up Patriots, and I want to thank you all for being here. I'm with Karen tomorrow, and Lord Conrad Black is joining us on Wednesday. That's going to be a lot of fun, and Tony's here for that. Thank you.
Right.
Being with us. Thank you all, Patriots. See you tomorrow.